Welcome to BitBoy Crypto Morning Show. As I, your humble host, BitBoy. If you guys could, make sure to smash the like button when you come in. Get the show started off in the right direction. I would appreciate that. Today we're going to be taking a look at Robert Kiyosaki saying that Bitcoin and Ethereum are the people's money. We're going to look at Bitcoin breaking down, and we're going to take a look at why is Bitcoin continuing to go down, just showing resilience to the downside, unfortunately. So we're going to get started. We'll get going with gecko here. Okay. All right. Get the latest refresh here. Okay. Market cap coming in at $3.257 trillion. We've lost $750 billion in market cap in the last month or so. 24-hour volume come in 197 billion. Bitcoin dominance down 57.2%. ETH dominance, I think, either the same or up a little bit, maybe. ETH 11.4%. It costs you one ETH, or excuse me, one Gwei to send an Ethereum transaction. Close enough, anyways. Take a look at the visualization of the market cap. This is what it looks like right now. Here's visualization of the 24-hour trading volume, which I always think is funny they show that visualization. I don't know why they do that. Trending coins, Caldera, Fire, and Bitcoin. Top gainers for the day, Banana for Scale, BitLight, and Junction. So let's see a look at what these are. This is Caldera. This one is Caldera. There we go. And you can see it is coming in at number 740 on CoinMarket or on CoinGecko. And had a big spike recently, came back down to reasonable prices. This just came out in October. It did. Go to the website. This is it. The Internet of Chains. Caldera is a network of interconnected purpose-built blockchains selling on Ethereum. Bring the world on chain. So there's gaming, build gaming, low fees. About this, but it's a Japanese project. Come down here and you see everything is in Japanese pricing. 3 yen a minute. So to show what it pays out, and you see all their locations are all in Japan. So I guess you could put some money in it if you want to, but This is primarily a Japanese project. All right, next we have BitLight. And BitLight is a project that does not have a website. It's hard to find information about it. It's only been out for about 3 weeks now, but it's just on BSC scan. It's on BSC chain, or Binance Smart Chain, I think is what they call it actually technically now. Binance Smart Chain. And is it a meme coin? I have no idea, but I know this one's got to be a meme coin. Bananas for scale. Bananas for scale. Banana for scale. I'm sorry, not banana, it's banana. And that's a meme chart if I've ever seen one. Down, 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 down. Oh, people buy it up, buy it up, buy it up. And now look, it's much higher than it was at one time. 0.023 cents. See what it got up to. Anyways, it is not cooperating right now. It got all the way up to 51 cents. No, 5.1 cents. So there you go. So if you want to check out any of these projects that you see here on CoinGecko, that's just how you do it. Pull it up, look for a website, look for information. Now let's get to the ugly. Let's get to Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now at $93,350. Down 1.2% for the last hour, down 0.8% for the 24 hours, 7-day 11%, 30-day 12.8% is down. Ethereum coming in 2% down. Hey, it's tough above 3,000. Hey, it's tough above 3,000. XRP coming in at 2.19%. BNB $908. Wow. 134, 135 for Solana. Tron doesn't move very much. Tron just kind of sits still in its place. Mostly known for Tron-based USDT coming through the network. Dogecoin down to 15 cents, and ADA coming in at 47 cents. Check out the biggest gainers of the last hour. ICP, there we go. Last hour, it's up. Canton Coin, Provenance, Blockchain. Those are the only three really big gainers. Right down in the last hour, you also got some big losers. Pump.Fund, Mantle, both over 3%. Solana, 2.6%. XRP down $2.19. I mean, yeah, down 2.2%. So biggest winner is like 24 hours. Uniswap continuing to have a resurgence. Monero. Is Monero going to get a Zcash-like spike? It feels like Monero is too complicated for people, maybe. Might be. So that's why, even though it's the #1 privacy coin, Zcash blew up because it was in the hundreds, I believe. And then somebody said, hey, what about this one? It's easier to use. And that's kind of how the legend of Zcash last month happened. Definitely October for Zcash last month. And ICP and others. Bitcoin Cash, 3.7%. Astra, 3.4%. Athena, Cosmos. Several decent movers, but real actions on the downside here. But Zcash is up to number 16. Wow. But over the last 24 hours, it's down. So, wow. It passed Monero. Well, people are looking for the next privacy coin. I mean, there's a lot of choices. BitTensor. Okay. So let's look at the 7 days. Aster probably has a month, 6.6%. 11.9% for Zcash, Uniswap 10%, Provenance blockchain, 7.9%, and then Monero coming in. Look, not too shabby, 34.8% for the month, but Pump.fun down 31% for the month. ITP gave a lot of its gains back, 26.8%. Sweet down 23%. HBAR at 22.5%. Filecoin 21.5%. Arbitrum, Athena, a lot of 20% losers. And then the rest is tucked in between about 10 and 20%. Okay, somebody said there was a sound problem. Is that for real? All right, let's move on. Our trading contest on Phemex is over, by the way. But now we have a nice deposit bonus. If you guys want to sign up for Phemex, use my link, and you'll be able to get verified. So let's move on here. Currently, the Fed watch is a 44.4% to the downside. I mean, to not having a raise. There's a 44.4% chance now that we are going to get a rate cut. 55.6%, more than half, that we won't. And you look at the numbers, they're a little scary. Last week, we were 66.9%, and we dropped 25%. 25% here we've lost, saying that we will not be able to get a rate cut. This is bad news. However, it could be good news. It could be good news if we do get a rate hike. These are within a margin of error here. And this could change. But as of right now, we're a 4.4% chance we're not getting another rate cut this year. People are bummed out by that. But if somehow we get it, then that means it wasn't baked in and we should get a nice little pump from it. Fear and greed index, we're at extreme fear right now. Yesterday we were at 10. Today we're at 14. Last week we were at 29. Last month we were at 23. So we are in extreme fear now, which means that hypothetically we should be at a bottom. Look at it over time, over last month. Okay. Trump drops 500% tariff shockwave. Crypto trembles. Bitcoin breakdown ahead. U.S. Donald Trump on Friday voiced support for a Senate measure that would let the U.S. impose tariffs up to 500% on imports from nations still buying Russian energy. It would be okay with me, he said. That's the quote. It would be okay with me. Based on reports, the proposal names oil, natural gas, petroleum products, and uranium as covered goods and highlights major buyers such as India and China. The move is described as a tool meant to squeeze Russian export revenues, but the measure remains proposed and has not become law. Reports have disclosed that the bill would give the president authority to slap punitive duties as high as 500% on goods coming from any country judged to be materially trading in Russian energy. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Just in, President Trump approves bill. Approves bill. I mean, that's a strong word on countries trading with Russia. Lawmakers behind the text say that they measure target energy purchases to help fund Moscow. How the tariff would be applied and the exact list of goods and exceptions is still being worked on in a committee. This is not the dumbest thing you guys have heard. Legal experts warned that a 500% duty would raise immediate questions about trade rules and possible retaliation. 500%. They just think you got their little tax-free stores in the airport. that people flip out to go buy stuff so they don't have to pay 10% tax or whatever it is. Markets reacted fast. Crypto traders moved to the exits in the first hours after the news, pushing volatility up across major tokens. Nearly 620 million in crypto positions were liquidated in 24 hours, forcing over 152,000 traders out, with a single 30 million Bitcoin USD order on the hyperliquid being the largest hit. Major altcoins like XRP, Solana, and Cardano saw sharp swings. Ethereum dropped toward the $3,000 level. Bitcoin took a 1% hit following the news. And last week, Bitcoin has lost close to 10% of its value since sitting on an all-time high of 126K on October 6th, 2025. Crypto market is highly sensitive to geopolitical trade shocks. Analysts say that a 500% tariff on countries trading with Russia would be significantly higher than the past rates that caused a $200 billion wipeout, could trigger severe panic selling. Analysts believe that the large-scale tariff, if it is brought into effect, a short-term effect could decrease Bitcoin and major altcoins prices by 10 to 20%. If the tariffs were ever applied, energy flows would be disrupted. They could push crude and gas prices higher, and higher energy costs usually feed into inflation. Central banks might respond by holding rates higher for longer, which can hurt risk assets, including crypto. Yet history shows that once a new price regime takes hold, people sometimes seek alternatives to cash and bank deposits. That dynamic is part of why crypto markets are watching this proposal so closely. It would be okay with me. That's a very strong approval. I wouldn't not support it. Bitcoin rebounds after weekend sell-off as Ledger Digital flags short squeeze risk. Bitcoin steadied on Monday after a sharp weekend decline, pushed the November largest cryptocurrency to new local lows near $93,000, according to a November 17th research note from someone. The move lower occurred without an obvious catalyst, and with equity markets opening modestly stronger on Monday, spot prices quickly retraced back towards Friday's close. Laser Digital, part of the Nomura group, said the cooling off spot-driven selling pressure has given the market some room to stabilize after a volatile few sessions. Still, derivatives positioning suggests the market remains fragile. The next major move may depend on whether Bitcoin can reclaim key levels in the days ahead. Desk highlighted that a decent amount of open interest was added during the sell-off, pointing to perp-led pressure rather than spot liquidation as the primary driver. That dynamic is visible in the liquidation heat map, which shows a steady concentration of short side leverage at current levels, creating conditions ripe for a squeeze that should push prices higher. Broader sentiment took a turn after Meta's October 29th earnings, which reinforced investor concerns that AI-related capital expenditure may shift from being a growth engine to a potential drag on technology margins. That shift has weighed on risk appetite across equities and digital assets. This week brings one major catalyst. Due Wednesday, the chipmaker increasingly viewed as a barometer for AI spending and enterprise technology demand. Laser Digital said the results are likely to shape the next move in macro, with knock-on effects for Bitcoin's momentum and volatility. For now, traders are watching. It's funny because it's so much lower than this, and this is not an old article, on whether Bitcoin can reclaim the $98,500 level and absorb the buildup of leverage shorts. If so, the setup described by Laser Digital implies that the next significant move could be sharply higher, not because fundamentals have shifted, but because positioning leaves bearish traders very vulnerable. Very vulnerable. Robert Kiyosaki backs Bitcoin and Ethereum as people's money despite volatility. With the Bitcoin price crashing more than 10% on the weekly chart, veteran investor Robert Kiyosaki is once again defending the asset class, calling it people's money. His recent comments came in mild criticism of the Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett. That's a proper noun. Should be capital O there. Same. In his recent post on X platform, Kiyosaki points out risk in traditional financial markets and U.S. equities, just as Buffett buys $4.3 billion worth of Alphabet. Robert Kiyosaki issued a detailed response after Warren Buffett dismissed Bitcoin as speculation rather than investment. Previously, Buffett warned that a blow-off top could wipe out crypto investors. Robert Kiyosaki argued that Buffett's stance overlooks risk in traditional financial markets. He noted that stocks, real estate, and even U.S. Treasuries, long considered safe haven assets, have experienced volatility, with recent selling pressure from major foreign holders such as Japan and China. Kiyosaki stated that the U.S. financial system appears absolutely broken. That's why he owns gold mines, physical gold, and silver, as well as Bitcoin and Ethereum, because he doesn't trust the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Treasury, or Wall Street. On November 15th, Buffett said he would continue to buy Bitcoin despite the current selling pressure. In contrast, he places confidence in these institutions. Latest reports suggest that Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway has acquired 17.85 million in Alphabet shares, valued at approximately $4.3 billion. Although small compared to Buffett's $340 billion cash position, this investment is significant because it comes amid talks of an AI-driven market bubble. Purchase triggered a Buffett bump, sending Alphabet stock up 7% during pre-market trading on Monday. In his post on the X platform, Robert Kiyosaki reiterated his long-held classifications: physical gold and silver as God's money, Bitcoin and Ethereum as people's money, and government-linked financial assets as fake money. He stressed that he avoids ETFs and REITs, calling them paper or counterfeit version of real assets. Kiyosaki has also backed Bitcoin and ETH investments in 401k retirement funds. He added that his core motivation for investing distrust in government fiscal policy. Kiyosaki criticized the Federal Reserve's money creation and the U.S. Treasury spending priorities. He believes that the expanding national debt will face further issuance of dollar-denominated debt, benefiting Wall Street but hurting ordinary citizens through inflation. Benefiting Wall Street but hurting... Isn't Wall Street made up of ordinary citizens? I mean, they're not aliens, I don't think. How about this? The world's smartest man forecasts Bitcoin to reach $220,000 in the next 45 days. Young Hoon Kim, widely promoted as a man with a claimed IQ of 276, has predicted that Bitcoin could hit 220K within the next 45 days. He made the bold call on November 16th into a Grok AI projection. Bitcoin might reach $175,000 by year end, arguing the rally couldn't fall much faster as BTC trades around $95,400. Kim said a move towards $220,000 going into early 2026 is not only possible, but likely, adding that if the prediction comes true, I will use 100% of my Bitcoin profits to build churches for Jesus Christ in every nation. As world's highest IQ record holder, I expect is going to $220,000 in the next 45 days. And he's going to say what he's going to do with his profits. There's a Twitter from him. He claims his IQ is 276. What does this guy look like? Let's look this guy up. Young Hoon Kim. What is it again? Young Hoon. This guy. This guy claims to be the smartest guy ever. Oh, he's a pretty young guy. Wow. Okay, well, this is him. This isn't his first sweeping bullish Bitcoin projection. On September 29th, said as the world's highest IQ record holder, as the world's highest IQ record holder and grandmaster of memory, I believe that Bitcoin is the only hope for the future economy. Claims to have converted all his assets into Bitcoin, expecting the crypto to appreciate 100x over the next decade, a path that would place Bitcoin above $10 million. Kim also argues that Bitcoin will become the world's ultimate reserve asset, surpassing gold, foreign currency, and U.S. treasuries. The 36-year-old South Korean founder of the United Sigma Intelligence Association has attracted a large online following, but his credibility is heavily debated. Psychometric experts have questioned his IQ claims, and Paul Kuyemans of the Gecko Society previously said Kim is a pathologically lying imposter in an interview with Vice. So if it's good enough for the world's smartest man, you self-claimed smartest man, then it's got to be great enough for the rest of us, right? He's got to be in Mensa. This guy's a member of Gecko Society. You guys have no idea how. I'm in Mensa, actually, and it is amazing how much the people in there just love to tell you how smart they are. And even the smartest guy is he in the Gecko Society? So when you go to these Mensa parties, it's a bunch of people arguing over who's the smartest. That's what it is. And they've got all these groups for like Mensa, like top 2% intelligence in the world. And they got some that's like top 0.1%, 0.0005% in the world. And you got to be like certain high. You have to test so high on the Mensa thing to take those tests. But I got in when I was 21, I think, maybe 20. So, but anyways. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for today. I appreciate you guys coming in and watching the show. Here's a story you can look at on your own time. Americans are heating their homes with Bitcoin this winter. Is this heating homes? Look how crazy that is. It's wild. Anyways, guys. All right. That's all I got. Be blessed. Boy out.